All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Curiosity Corner Live. It is the 1st of July, which means, guess what? The Science Center is open again. So, oh my gosh, I have to adjust my cameras lower than normal. The Science Center is open again, so you can get your advance tickets. Make sure you check out our website, www.greatscience.com, for all of that information. We are so excited to welcome you back to the Great Lakes Science Center on this very, very sunny day. It's warm outside. So hopefully everyone's having a good day so far. We are taking just a moment to let a few more friends hop in and join us on our 99th episode of Curiosity Corner Live. So we have something extra special planned for you. So let's see. I think it's been enough time. So hello, everyone. Once again, welcome to Curiosity Corner Live on this very special 99th episode. So my name is Joy. I'm a guest engagement specialist here at the Great Lakes Science Center, and I'm actually coming to you live from the Great Lakes Science Center and somewhere the guests don't usually get to go. But because it's the 99th episode, we have something a little bit special for you. I'm going to back away. It's not just me.
I am also here instead of being in my dining room where I've been for the last 4 months.
Yeah.
That's just where I've been. I haven't gone anywhere else. But yeah, it's a special 2-person episode 99.
Yes, we are socially distanced. As you can tell, we are very far apart.
Yes.
Being nice and safe right here on Curiosity Corner Live. Now, speaking of safety, we are actually giving you an extra special behind-the-science look at some of our science demonstrations. So, Andy, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, we're going to talk about the star of a lot of our shows. It's not me.
Or me, I wish.
Not Joy. It is actually liquid nitrogen. We have our liquid nitrogen tank behind us that we use for a lot of different shows at the Great Lakes Science Center. You can see that Joy and I are both wearing goggles. These are here to keep us safe. We're both wearing lab coats. We both have long pants and closed-toed shoes. Those are all safety precautions. They are all PPE, personal protection equipment.
Now, we have some other extra special pieces of safety equipment that we have to wear every time we handle liquid nitrogen. Andy's going to model some of them for you. So one of which is a face shield that protects our faces. So that way, in the event something splashes, like liquid nitrogen, if it splashes in our face, it hits the face shield and doesn't hit us. And we also have to wear special gloves. These are called cryo gloves. They're very, very thick. So there's actually a special fluffy layer inside of them that helps protect us from any sort of extremely cold splashing. Now, if you recall way back in episode 6, we did an episode on liquid nitrogen where I told you that liquid nitrogen is about 320 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. So if that were to touch our hands, it would not be comfortable, which is why we wear special gloves.
Yes.
Now, we also have to protect the spaces that we do demonstrations with liquid nitrogen in. So on the floor, we'll have tarps. We also will use carpet squares, like so. It is a square of carpet that will protect any surface from any sort of damage from cold temperatures.
The other great thing about a carpet square is it's porous. It has lots of nooks and crannies. And when liquid nitrogen hits a surface, if that surface is warm, it will splash on it. It'll start making little beads. It will do something called the Leidenfrost effect, where a little bit of vapor will sit under a bead of liquid nitrogen, which makes it dangerous because then it goes all over the place. So a carpet square keeps that in one place, and we don't have to worry about it. Now, we've talked about liquid nitrogen a lot. It's time to open it up.
Yeah.
So, inside this cage, we have our 240 liter tank of liquid nitrogen. We get our nitrogen donated to us by a company called Airgas, and it comes to us in these giant tanks. We also have a hose. Here's the hose. We might be able to bring the camera a little closer.
Right.
So you
I will
can see
attempt.
Ooh. Ooh.
This is about as close as it
That's
gets.
probably just gonna get, okay, well. Now you know it's super professional because we have these amazing camera angles. But
all right, there we go. You're a foot closer.
Cool. At the end of our hose, there's this little thing called a phase separator. And the phase separator refers to the different phases of matter. And so gas will come out the sides, liquid will come out the front, which is great because we don't want the nitrogen bubbling up. We don't want it to cause any problems when it's coming out of the hose. So I'm going to put down my face shield.
Yes, and I'm also going to have one because, you know, liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stand up here so you can hear me through the thing.
Yeah. Right. This is a dewar, and Joy, if you could talk about the dewar.
All right. So the dewar is a special container that we store liquid nitrogen in. Now, if you look, it doesn't really have a tight seal. It's got like a little cap, and then the liquid nitrogen can escape because the liquid can boil away and turn into a gas really, really quickly. So we don't want a tight seal because that could not end well. So it's pressurized, and so the way the dewar works is there's the outer layer, and then there's the inner area where we keep the liquid nitrogen. There's a space in between the outer layer and the inner layer. Now that acts as a vacuum. So Andy, why don't you explain that whole vacuum?
Yeah.
bit?
So I'm going to put the hose down.
Yes, put the hose down.
So you can see the dewar there, and hopefully you can hear me behind this face shield. Joy mentioned the wall, and then there's a vacuum between the outer wall and the inner wall. So because there's a vacuum, that means that heat will not move very quickly across it. So it's cold inside the dewar, it's warm outside. We don't want that heat to get in there and boil the nitrogen away really fast. So if we have that vacuum, then the heat will radiate. It won't absorb across the nitrogen dewar. So that's what keeps it cold. It's sort of like a giant thermos.
Yeah.
I am going to fill this dewar, or at least a little bit of this dewar, to show you the process there.
So when we're going to fill a dewar, we have to make sure we're wearing our PPE. So then we go to the tank and get the hose. There is a special valve that's on the top of the liquid nitrogen tank. So Andy is putting the hose with the phase separator into the dewar, and then he's going to turn the little knob. Now you'll hear that whistle. That happens whenever you open the valve. And eventually you'll start to see a little bit of a cloud pop up. Or not really a cloud, it's a little bit of fog. There we go. So that means that the temperature is going down and our liquid nitrogen is going into the tank. But remember, it's still really, really cold even though it's boiling. So the water vapor in the air is changing into fog, which is why we have that lovely little cloud burst. Now, the cloud burst can make it interesting because when we fill a dewar, it can take a little while to fill a 4-liter dewar. But you can usually tell that one of these is full when you start to see little droplets splashing back. So sometimes the cloud makes it kind of difficult to see those little droplets.
Yeah.
But eventually the cloud, as you can see, starts to go down and level off, and it doesn't go all the way up. But yeah, this is why we wear the face shield, because that giant cloud goes poof. So we will stand here and keep a very close eye on that dewar, just to make sure it doesn't overflow. And as soon as we realize that it's full, we turn the knob off. And then I usually like to hold the hose over the dewar for a few extra seconds, just in case it's still dripping at all. But if you could kind of see the hose is actually completely frosted over because the liquid nitrogen passing through it is so cold. So, Andy, how we doing?
Well, I don't think we filled it completely, but I think we got enough in there that we can use. But yeah, you can see the hose is frosted over, and there's still some cold nitrogen gas coming out of the hose as it sort of settles. I'm going to put that back.
Yeah, the gas will continue coming out for a little while yet. So,
and there is liquid nitrogen in this dewar, not much, but you can see the the fog coming out of there. So, yep. So we're going to let that do its thing.
Yeah.
And we might use it a little later. Now, that's a little behind the scenes look at what we do here at the Great Lakes Science Center. Whoops. I'm confused by there's a camera on the laptop, there's a camera right here, so I got confused. Anyway, I think that's good for today. So thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Curiosity Corner Live. Your challenge is, here's your challenge. So we use liquid nitrogen for science demonstrations, big science shows, things like that. So your challenge is this. What would you want to see in a big science show? What kind of big science show would you do yourself? Like, you can design your own big science show. Or what would you like to see on Curiosity Corner Live? Now that the museum is open, we can do a lot more things here. So what would you like to see on Curiosity Corner Live? Speaking of which, this was all a hint to tomorrow's episode, and
100.
yeah, and what would you like to see on Curiosity Corner Live was also a hint, because we asked you to tell us what you wanted to see. We gave you a vote, and overwhelmingly, liquid nitrogen won. So tomorrow, for our 100th episode of Curiosity Corner Live, we are going to do a liquid nitrogen show on Curiosity Corner Live. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be outside.
Yeah!
If the weather holds up. Yeah.
It's going to be really cool. A lot of planning went into that. We are so excited. You're going to get to see some of our favorite experiments and some new ones that we haven't done yet on Curiosity Corner Live. So that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us. My name is Andy.
My name is Joy.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, stay curious.